Welcome back, lifers, to another episode of Life Points with Ronda. Closing arguments ended on Friday, and the fate of alleged cult leader Nature Boy Elio Bishop now in jury's hands. This is definitely one that has a few people holding their breath. But let's take a look at the life of this controversial enigma. In the vast landscape of spiritual movements and societal shifts, few stories captivate and perplex as much as that of Elio Bishop, known to many as Nature Boy. At the heart of a movement that defies easy categorization, Bishop emerges as a figure both enigmatic and polarizing, embodying the extremes of human search for meaning, connection, and a return to the natural world. This tale is not just about a man or a movement, it's a reflection on the very essence of what it means to challenge the status quo, to seek a life unbound by societal norms, and to confront the complexities of spiritual leadership in the digital age. Elio Bishop's journey from the margins of conventional society to the forefront of Carbon Nation, a community dedicated to living in harmony with nature, eschewing the trappings of modern civilization, raises profound questions. It's a story that invites us to explore the intersections of spirituality, environmentalism, and the human yearning for authenticity. Through his teachings, Bishop advocates for a life stripped of materialism, a life where humans live in direct communion with the earth, following a path he believes leads to true enlightenment and freedom. Yet, as with any narrative that veers so sharply from the mainstream, Bishop's story is mired in controversy. Allegations of cult-like behavior, legal skirmishes, and public disputes paint a complex picture of Carbon Nation and its charismatic leader. These elements serve as a backdrop to a broader discussion about the nature of belief, the search for community, and the challenges of living out one's convictions in the face of widespread skepticism and opposition. Life Points with Ronda embarks on this journey not to adjudicate or to sensationalize, but to understand. Through an exploration of Bishop's life, from his earliest days to the formation of Carbon Nation and the movement's evolution under his leadership, we aim to offer a narrative that respects the nuances of this story. This special series will delve into the philosophies that underpin Carbon Nation, the daily realities of its members, and the controversies that have followed them, all while maintaining a commitment to sensitivity and depth. As we peel back the layers of this captivating story, we invite listeners to join us in reflecting on the broader themes it evokes: the quest for personal and collective transformation, the tension between freedom and responsibility, and the endless human pursuit of a life lived in harmony with our deepest values. Welcome to an in-depth exploration of the life and legacy of Elio Bishop, a journey into the heart of what it means to radically reimagine our place in the world. Seeds of Transformation. The story of Elio Bishop, known to many as Nature Boy, begins not with his emergence as the leader of Carbon Nation, but in the quieter, less visible corners of his early life. To understand the man who would come to advocate for a radical departure from modern society, we must first trace the contours of his formative years, the experiences that shaped his worldview, and the journey that led him from the conventional to the unconventional. Born in the United States, Bishop's early life was characterized by a search for identity and belonging, themes common to many, but which would take on profound significance in his later teachings. Growing up, Bishop experienced the challenges of urban life, navigating the complexities of modern society and the pervasive sense of disconnection that often accompanies it. These early experiences sowed the seeds of disillusionment, driving him to question the norms and values of the society around him. Friends, family, and acquaintances from Bishop's early years describe a person always on the edge of discovery, someone who possessed a deep, if not yet fully articulated, sense of dissatisfaction with the status quo. It was this restlessness, this unyielding quest for meaning, that would propel him on a path of self-exploration and eventually self-reinvention. As Bishop ventured into adulthood, his quest for understanding led him down various avenues, exploring different philosophies, engaging with diverse spiritual practices, and experimenting with alternative lifestyles. These explorations were not mere whims. They were the building blocks of what would become a comprehensive critique of modern civilization and a vision for an alternative way of living. It was during this period of exploration and self-discovery that Bishop began to articulate the core tenets of what would later become the foundation of Carbon Nation. His growing disillusionment with societal norms, particularly the alienation from nature, the relentless pursuit of material wealth, and the neglect of spiritual and communal well-being, became the catalyst for his transformation into Nature Boy. This transformation was not instantaneous. It was the result of years of questioning, learning, and, most importantly, unlearning. Bishop immersed himself in texts and teachings that echoed his growing belief in the necessity of a life lived in closer harmony with nature. He drew inspiration from a wide range of sources, including indigenous wisdom, environmental activism, and alternative spiritualities, weaving these influences into a unique tapestry that would serve as the ideological foundation for Carbon Nation. As Bishop's beliefs crystallized, so too did his resolve to live according to these principles. The decision to abandon the conventions of society and to adopt a lifestyle in direct opposition to it was a radical act of self-assertion. It was also a declaration of independence from a system he viewed as fundamentally flawed and corrupt. This chapter of Bishop's life, marked by a profound personal evolution, sets the stage for the establishment of Carbon Nation. It is a testament to the power of individual transformation and the search for authenticity in an increasingly inauthentic world. As we delve deeper into Bishop's journey, we see the emergence of a figure who is at once a product of his environment and a radical departure from it. A man who would come to embody the tensions and contradictions of seeking a different path in the modern age. The story of Elio Bishop's early years is more than a prelude to his later achievements. It is a critical piece of the puzzle, offering insights into the motivations and convictions that drive him. It is a chapter marked by introspection, challenge, and change. A fitting beginning for a man who would come to challenge the very foundations of how we live and what we value. Chapter 7. The Genesis of Carbon Nation. As the narrative of Elio Bishop's life unfolds, we arrive at a pivotal juncture: the formation of Carbon Nation. This chapter is not just about the birth of a community, it's a deep dive into the embodiment of Bishop's vision. A vision that challenges the very fabric of modern society and seeks to establish a new paradigm of living in harmony with nature. The inception of Carbon Nation was both a declaration and an experiment. Bishop, now fully embracing his identity as Nature Boy, sought to create a living, breathing testament to his beliefs. This was to be a community that not only preached about returning to a natural way of living, but lived it every day. It was a bold move, one that required not just philosophical conviction, but practical application. At the heart of carbonation were a few core beliefs that Bishop had refined over years of exploration and self-discovery. First and foremost was the principle of living in harmony with nature, an ethos that called for a radical simplification of life and a return to natural diets, natural healing, and an abandonment of the materialism that characterizes much of modern life. Bishop advocated for a vegan lifestyle, citing both health and ethical reasons, and promoted the idea that true health and enlightenment were only achievable through this natural way of living. Second was the importance of community and collective living. Bishop believed that modern society's emphasis on individualism was a root cause of alienation and disconnection. Carbonation, therefore, was to be a model of communal living, where resources were shared and decisions were made collectively, a stark contrast to the hierarchical structures prevalent in the wider society. Finally, there was a strong spiritual component to Bishop's teachings. He posited that living in accordance with nature was not just beneficial for physical health, but was essential for spiritual awakening. This spirituality was eclectic, drawing on elements from various traditions, but always emphasizing the interconnectedness of all life and the universe. The practical realization of these ideals began with the search for a suitable location. Bishop and his early followers sought out environments that were not just conducive to their lifestyle, but symbolic of their commitment to breaking away from modern civilization. They settled in the tropical locales, places where the abundance of nature could provide for their needs, and where the environment itself would act as a constant reminder of their mission. The early days were marked by trial and error as the community navigated the challenges of self-sufficiency and sustainable living. They built their shelters, grew their food, and lived without many of the conveniences of modern technology. Life in carbonation was both a return to basics and a radical act of defiance against the consumerist culture. The establishment of carbonation did not go unnoticed. The community faced skepticism and criticism, not just from the outside world, but sometimes from within. The challenges were manifold: legal issues related to land use and residency, logistical challenges of living off-grid, and the internal dynamics of a community striving to live out such a distinct set of principles. Yet, with every challenge, the community grew stronger. Bishop's leadership and the shared conviction of the group helped navigate these obstacles, and with time, carbonation began to attract more followers. People disillusioned with the pace and priorities of modern life found in carbonation a beacon of hope, a tangible manifestation of a different way of living, a living experiment. The story of the genesis of carbonation is, at its core, a story of belief in action. It's about the translation of philosophy into practice, the embodiment of an ideal in the fabric of daily life. Bishop's vision for carbonation was not just to create a refuge from the world, but to construct a mirror to it, reflecting back the possibilities of what life could be when lived in accordance with different values. As we wrap up this chapter, carbonation stands as a testament to the power of conviction and the possibility of creating change, not just in the external world, but within ourselves. It's a reminder that the journey towards a more harmonious existence with nature and each other is both challenging and rewarding, fraught with obstacles, but rich with the potential for growth and enlightenment. The eye of the storm, controversies, and legalities. As the sun rises on the world of carbonation and its charismatic leader, Elio Bishop, the narrative swiftly evolves from one of spiritual exploration and societal withdrawal to a saga marked by controversy and legal entanglements. This chapter delves into the tempests that have surrounded Bishop and his community, offering a nuanced examination of the legal, ethical, and societal challenges they've faced. The journey of Carbon Nation, under Bishop's guidance, has been anything but smooth. With aspirations to live in absolute harmony with nature, detached from the perceived corruptions of modern society, Bishop and his followers sought refuge in various countries, aiming to establish a utopian existence. However, their efforts often clashed with local laws and societal norms, leading to a series of legal challenges and public disputes that have marked the movement with a reputation for controversy. One of the most significant legal hurdles faced by Bishop and Carbon Nation was their encounters with immigration authorities in several countries. Their nomadic lifestyle, moving from one tropical paradise to another, in search of a place to call home, often without the proper legal documentation, led to multiple deportations. These incidents were not merely bureaucratic hurdles. They were highly publicized events that attracted a mixture of scrutiny, criticism, and, for some, sympathy. Elio Bishop, leader of the alleged sex cult Carbon Nation, was found guilty on March 1st, 2024 on all counts, including rape, false imprisonment, and revenge porn charges. The verdict, delivered by a Georgia jury, marks a significant milestone in a case that offered a disturbing glimpse into the operations of the purported cult. The very emotional trial unfolded, shedding light on the cult's practices, particularly its use of social media to propagate its holistic lifestyle and teachings. During the sentencing hearing that followed the verdict, several of Bishop's former cult members provided emotional testimonies, revealing the psychological impact of his actions. One woman testified, "He said my soul belonged to him, and there was absolutely no saying no to him," illustrating the coercive nature of Bishop's influence. In watching the trial, I personally noted that Elio Bishop appeared extremely disrespectful and surprisingly dismissive. Like a king in court, his arrogance and ego demanding that all eyes needed to be on him. He was very social, engaging in casual conversation with the bailiff and displaying a lack of remorse, prompting scolding from DeKalb County Superior Court, Judge Stacy Heydrich. Bishop's attempt to communicate with the judge and the victims resulted in a muted courtroom, emphasizing the gravity of the charges. In his brief remarks before sentencing, Elio Bishop asked, "Are you happy?" To which the judge responded, "I'm not answering any questions of yours." Bishop, seemingly unrepentant, stated, I forgive you," addressing the judge. Judge Heydrich, unswayed by Bishop's words, characterized him as a master manipulator and a classic narcissist. Prosecutors pushed for the maximum sentence, highlighting Bishop's lack of remorse throughout the trial. Despite the defense's argument, citing his troubled childhood, Judge Heydrich sentenced Bishop to life without parole. Additionally, he received a consecutive 10-year sentence with concurrent sentences for revenge sex charges. Judge Heydrich imposed strict conditions prohibiting any contact, direct or indirect, with the victims and restricting Bishop from profiting from his crimes, including book deals or other means. The defense has 30 days to file a motion for a new trial. Bishop's supporters, though not present during the verdict, criticized the judge's words as one-sided, asserting the case was a setup. They vowed to appeal the conviction. The sentencing brings a measure of closure to the victims, with Judge Heydrich expressing hope that they can find peace, at least beginning with the imposed sentence. What are your thoughts on this very controversial case? Some individuals feel, as a Black man, he was railroaded. Taking nothing away from those victims who were impacted, as we certainly take abuse of any kind very serious. May the victims find work through their traumas in a way that brings healing and peace. Thank you for watching.